can't do it as good as him.
Do it.
Don't, please.
You do it.
Don't, please.
Hawk Tuah.
How is there that much content? An hour long of this Nashville 5 who they whooped up the street who spits on Wiener? She's got an hour's worth of content she can fill? Bullshit, dude.
Hawk Tuah. Hawk Tuah.
The Native Americans and the Pilgrims had a
Why is she
fun
sitting
dinner.
like that?
Didn't they have a turkey too?
No, definitely not.
Well, guys, Hawk Tuah. Those two words are something that I've been trying to avoid talking about for the last few months, but recent events have made it basically impossible for me to continue to do that. Yeah, she made a podcast. Now, if none of the words
You can't tell me. I saw that this was one of the #1 trending podcasts in America. You cannot tell me this woman is not AstroTurf to high heaven. Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe that this lady organically got this following. Somebody picked her up, thought she's a cute girl. She had a stupid moment, 15 minutes of fame, and they thought, hell, 15 minutes of fame, let's extend it. Let's extend it to 150 minutes of fame. Great. I hope that 2025, this woman is not around.
just said make any sense to you, then I don't even really know where to begin. If you're unfamiliar with the Hawk Tuah girl, as she's commonly referred to, welcome to the internet. Glad to be the first video you've ever watched on the World Wide Web. But basically, the Hawk Tuah girl, aka Haley Welch, is a young woman who recently got famous for a street interview she gave where she talked about a method of sucking a man's penis in which she spits on it, or Hawk Tuahs on that thing. Now, if you're like me, you might be wondering why.
I also just need to say, what is up with the spit? Spitting on, that is so gross. Don't spit on any part of my body if you're a woman. I don't want to spit on yours. It's got to be like porno brain rot or something, because there's no way. Like, this is just spitting on it, dude. Like, ugh. I'm cool on that. But I guess you got people out here eating ass and shit, so spit's the least of our worries.
Did that make somebody into a millionaire famous person? And honestly, I don't have an answer for you. My running theory is that it's because kids these days are really into stupid little phrases that they are somehow able to take and change its meaning entirely. Think about the gyats and the goofy ahs, stuff like that. I feel like Hawk Tuah kind of fits into that. Kids like saying stupid shit these days, but that's nothing new.
It's
I
just
feel like Hawk
it's literally just AstroTurf brain rot. It's AstroTurf brain rot, people. Like, they are continuously trying to dumb us down with these stupid slogans. And your kids are going to be saying Hawk Tuah, Skibbity Toilet, Riz Master 9000 every fucking day. And you're not going to know what the hell they're talking about. I unfortunately do. But these people are, they're going to have a language of their own that's based on 55 IQ guttural noises from the internet. This is the future, people. This is the future.
Tuah just really managed to resonate with the youth. You couple that with a lot of executive corporate types not really...
Oh my God, stop.
And then you've got the Hawk Tuah founder to be like the keynote speaker for shit.
She just looks like a friggin'...
payments being direct deposited to her...
She looks like the Grinch.
To, I don't know. Talk about spitting on dicks, I guess. I don't really know what she does. All I know is that she's been...
Also, I just want to say, you know, this is the elephant in the room. There's this kind of weird infantilization of sexual acts going on. And I feel like it's strange. This falls right into that category of, look, it's like pink and goofy and it's like, I don't know what's going on with that. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. We got the TikTok brain rot, you know, that's an issue in and of itself. And then we got this infantilization of sex, which I can't help but think that that's going to be ending up down a weird path. So watch out for that.
Showing up a lot of places that really make no sense for her to show up at. Whatever it is she's doing, though, it's working for her because she's basically become a household name over these last few months. And just like everybody who gets famous in a very short amount of time, she's made a podcast.
God, that lady.
And, well, how do I put this nicely? You can tell that she's only been famous for a couple of months and that she got famous for the reasons that she did. It's been said a million times before, not everybody needs a podcast. Somebody who has literally nothing to talk about other than the fact that they made a funny comment during a street interview is one of those people. But that's not going to stop us from watching it because it is really, really bad, and you need to see that, okay? So let's not wait.
He's absolutely right. You know, this is something I think needs to be said, is that not everybody is a personality. the barrier to entry, we talk about barriers to entry a lot on here. There's a reoccurring theme here. But the barrier to entry to showbiz was so cutthroat, and still is to a degree, but like everybody nowadays thinks that they have the personality to be a personality. And that's just not true. Some people are good at, some people I've noticed are good at researching. They're really smart, but they don't have the personality to convey the stuff that they read and the stuff that they research. And so, but they desperately, all these people are trying to be personalities, and you're just not that exciting, dude. You're just not that fun to watch. You're not that articulate. You're not that funny. You're not that explosive. You're just not. And I had never watched her podcast, but like, come on, like this mid-ass girl, they pick her up off the street. Is this really going to be that riveting of a podcast?
Begin.
Come on, Haley. It's not that bad. All right, it's time to get out of the bed and quit rotting.
Haley, get up.
All right, I'm ready.
Look at these girls.
So I wanted to start my podcast out here in Belfast.
They're like
where I was born
they're like
at,
25-year-old, 23-year-old college kids.
No, really. I even learned that you can't bring a box cutter on a plane.
Okay, so this is how the podcast starts. Not doing any fancy editing here to make this look worse than it is. This is the intro. And I think it's really funny that she decided to include the fact that she didn't know you can't take a box cutter onto an airplane, out of all things. Like, she could have said anything here, right?
I learned that when I was
But she chose
young.
to go with that, and this podcast episode was uploaded on September 10th. Now, after this, the first few minutes of the
Whitney Cummings.
podcast is basically what you'd expect. Introducing the guest, introducing the host, stuff like that. Now, as I'm sure you've assumed, we're going to be jumping around a lot. We're not going to be watching the entire thing, unfortunately. It is
God.
almost an hour long, but we are going to watch...
How is there that much content? An hour long of this Nashville 5 who they whooped up off the street, who spits on Wiener? She's got an hour's worth of content she can fill? Bullshit, dude. There's got to be dead air, dude. There's got to be so much dead air. There's no way that she fills that up with actual content. And it's crazy that Whitney Cummings, right? She's like a minor celebrity, right, or something. I don't even know who she is really, but I've seen her before. She came on like that. This is AstroTurf, dude. Somebody backed her with a bunch of money. Some donor gave her a bunch of money, and she paid this chick to come on and promote her new podcast. That's it.
thing they talked about.
There's not an organic following of this shit. I don't believe it.
You'll see why.
I hated history in school, and I was just...
We can tell.
Well, what's
The
the
whole
point of
time.
memorizing any history? Because we've now learned that none of it was true.
Yeah, that seems like a bit of an oversimplification, but sure.
I learned that the Native Americans and the Pilgrims had a fun dinner.
That's what I got from
I
it.
learned that they put on their best
They probably did
shoes
once.
with buckles and their best hat, and they all sat down and shared maize. They had corn, and they had a cornucopia, and it went great. And now
Didn't they have a turkey too?
Okay. So for some reason this stood out to me. Me and Haley, or the Hawk Tuah girl, I don't know what she likes to be referred to as. I'm going to say Haley for the rest of the video. We're the same age. I'm 3 months older than Haley. We are both 22 years old.
22.
And this is just complete bullshit, right? Anybody else my age here to back me up? I can't speak on behalf of Whitney.
Look, she's got her
22.
contract
I
down
don't
there in the
know
corner.
what went on in the 20 years
Miss
between us.
Whitney
Maybe it has
Cummings,
something
you're-
to do with
you're,
the fact that she says she hates
you're
history, so
contractually
maybe she wasn't
obliged
paying
to stay
attention.
here
But
for
I definitely did
an
not
hour.
get the whole, oh yeah, the Native Americans and the colonizers, yeah, they were really good buddies. And I'm from the South. Surely, there is not a chance in hell that there is a modern curriculum left in the United States that is still trying to pretend like we were super friendly to the
Yeah, I
Native
don't know what the hell
Americans,
you're
right?
talking
Right?
Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1962.
1492.
Okay, he didn't teach me very fucking much.
I think
Yeah, didn't it? I mean, she's reveling in her stupidity. This is the whole point of the. This is the whole point of these people's content, is to be as dumb as humanly possible, and your kids are the victims of it, really.
the most history until now has kind of been gossip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just like, you know what I mean?
All
Like,
history
I
is
feel like if
gossip,
I won a battle,
idiot.
I'd be like, not only am I going to tell this story, but I'm also going to say like my opponent was like fat and stupid. Like, you know, I'm going to add insult to it too.
Yeah,
totally.
He's not
interesting.
here to set the record straight.
Right, there was no way.
sounds
like
people are like, what if ChatGPT
Sounds like country did that in a certain war.
where the king was telling them what to paint. I mean, that was probably worse than Photoshop.
Yeah, I'd be right.
Like Mona Lisa.
Okay, I need to ask you guys this sincerely. Do you think this is a bit? Like, is this a character
I
or
need more
something?
wine
Is she
for
sort
this
of
shit,
playing
dude.
up the whole
This is
simple
brutal.
southerner thing, or what? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but listen to the words that
Oh,
these people are
God.
saying. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1962, and a king told somebody to paint the Mona Lisa for history. Like, what?
So you've had Jake Paul. You've had, I don't know what order you're going to do these in, but you've had Jake Paul on.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes. So far.
Jake's pretty wild.
He's a little spooky to talk to.
Really?
That's like a man, you know. That
Yeah.
is not like a little soft boy, you know. It's easy to talk to. That's a whole man right there.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
girl over here talking to this grown man. I was like, what the fuck am I talk to him about, you know?
Haley, you are 5 years younger than Jake Paul. What's with the weird infantilization?
He was exactly what.
I'm on the wrong account. I'm not poor. I have YouTube Premium. I'm on the wrong account. 2 ads?
I expected.
God.
Like, he lets on like he's an asshole, and that's what I like about him. He owns up to that.
I guess I'm not
He
giving this
That's-
woman
I got respect
ad
for him
revenue.
for
I'm
that.
giving
I
the
like
guy
that.
who's doing
Like,
the
I can
video
be an
ad revenue,
asshole,
so
too.
whatever.
And he's comfortable with controversy.
Yeah,
He's okay with it.
Very comfortable with that.
Yeah, we're like 4 minutes in, and we're already endorsing Jake Paul just because he's a fucking douchebag. This is my new favorite podcast, guys. I've never understood this logic, and I've heard it be used a surprising amount of times. Yeah, that guy's a fucking dick. Nobody wants to be around him. Nobody really likes him. But you know what? He knows that about himself, so he gets my thumbs up. Very strange thing to promote.
I think
Just imagine if Chelsea said Hawk Tuah and not you that night. Would Chelsea be sitting in that chair?
No.
I would not have dealt with it as good
No,
as you did.
I'll tell you why. I think we all know why. Because she's in Nashville 5, and her friend is in Ohio 3.
I think you're
Can we hear
full
you
of
say
shit.
it?
She don't give a fuck. It's her
Let's just-
problem.
let's just hear you
she
say
does
it.
not give a single fuck.
One more time?
I can't do it as good as
Do
Haley.
it.
Don't,
do it.
please. Don't, please.
Hawk Tuah.
Put fucking emphasis on it, like tuh.
No, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Say it. All right, all together.
Hawk Tuah.
Hawk tuh.
Hawk Tuah.
Say it.
Oh
aggressive,
my-
Like
Hawk
really.
Tuah.
Oh,
Like, you're mad
God.
at the day. You're mad at it.
Hawk Tuah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I first heard about this podcast, this is
Man.
honestly what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be sort of
That's
like
what it
Hot
is.
Ones, at least spiritually, in a way, where anybody who comes onto the podcast has to go through this like Hawk Tuah gauntlet. You got to prove you can Hawk Tuah with the best of them. So I'm glad to see that they took my idea. Is this entertaining for people? Like, am I just miserable? You know, I ask that question a lot in my videos. Maybe I should go talk to somebody, but like seriously, is this funny to others? Am I the issue? Please let me know.
Have you ever had to shit at a man's house?
Yeah, I just shit. I don't even try to hide it.
Okay.
Like, oh,
We
that's,
got it. We got
that's a good take. Unironically, that's a good take. Just fucking blow a load, dude. Who cares? I had to do that one time at a girl's house. My stomach was like grumbling. I don't know what the hell I ate. I eat like trash. And I just totally went to the bath. And she knew. She knew what I was doing in there. And I totally just blew a load in her toilet. And I ended up... It was like in the middle of the night too, and her parent and her family was home, and I dropped my phone and I went down to pick it up, and as I came up, I hit my fucking head on the towel rack, and it made the loudest noise. I flushed, I washed up, I ran back to her. She goes, "What the hell happened in there?" And I said, "You don't want to know."
it. We got the soundbite.
Yeah.
It's gonna make her as famous as Haley.
You holy shit,
He
dude.
shits too. Why
I
am I
just
We have a
hiding?
sign called Shitting with
I
Chelsea.
didn't even try to hide it.
By the way, that relationship
She's
went
Hawk
nowhere.
Tuah spit
So.
on that thing. I'm Hawk
It's
Tuah
a shit on that thing.
Ew.
Please get her a hat that says shit on
Shit
it.
on
Close
that
your
thing.
mouth.
Okay, maybe not
Shit
doing
on
that.
that thing. That
You look like a
respect.
trout. Oh my God! She just dabbed. Did she just dab in 2024? Dude, she is old. You are an old, washed-up woman who doesn't even know what memes are. Doesn't know what the current meme meta is. Not dabbing, dude. That was like 8 years ago, dude. You're freaking washed, lady. You're freaking old.
My God, I never knew 30 seconds of a video could make me feel physically ill. By the way, we've skipped like 25 minutes of the podcast. I'm sorry, but
And they
were
haven't
just
gotten
talking
any
about
more
getting
comfortable.
drunk and then like vaginal wigs. I don't know what's a joke and what's not, but I had to show you guys the shit on that thing segment, followed up by a dab. And look, I know I said that made me feel physically ill, but really, if we're being honest, I can't think of a more appropriate podcast for somebody to whip out a dab.
Dude, but like for real, who actually is watching this shit? Like, please put in the comments down below. Or do you do you know anybody, or do you watch this shit and think it's good? Like, and think it's like, are you actually like, a form of entertainment? Yes. I have Joe Rogan. I have Kill Tony I can watch. I have, Hawk Tuah. Like, and you go and watch this and you sit there and just ingest this goy slop for freaking an hour, whatever she said, an hour long. You just sit there and watch these mid-ass idiot entertainers for an hour. Like, dude, please let me know if you have ever met anybody who watches this shit, because I don't believe it. I don't believe anybody's watching this shit. If they actually are legitimately watching this, we are doomed.
It feels right.
Oh yeah, Haley's
It was
first flight
sick.
ever, Whitney, by the way. Her first flight she ever went on was like 3 weeks ago now, maybe a month ago.
You got a month.
So you had never flown before you went viral?
No, and everything in my damn carry-on.
She
it got
brought a knife.
confiscated. But actually, it was 2 knives, and they got confiscated.
You brought knives to the airport.
Yeah.
You
I
got
did
a
too,
little
but to be
girl
fair, I
going
was like
out here
10,
somewhere she's
and it
never
was like
been, unarmed.
2003.
You lost your fucking mind.
You brought weapons into TSA
I did.
in 2024.
He's like, ma'am, what's this? And I was like,
Okay, why are we going back to this little girl stuff? Look, I have no problem with somebody being armed. You best believe I'm not leaving the house if I'm not strapped. But I feel like everybody knows that you don't take that kind of stuff to the airport, right? Like, I feel like that's a universal
if you're
thing.
22,
Obviously, there are ways that you
and
can
it's
legally take
2024.
guns and knives into an airport. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I don't think I've ever met a person in my entire life, whether they've flown or not, who thinks you can just walk onto a plane with a knife. Now, we've been jumping around a lot, but I promise you, you haven't missed anything important. I kind of let this play in the background while I was doing
Thought I had
something
to
else,
sneeze.
just to really get the
It's
full
coming, though.
experience. And some of this shit I heard, I don't even know how it fits into the conversation. I'm like 99% sure I heard something about Hailey Bieber's cum at one point. Not sure where that slots in here, but I think we've seen enough. Is this podcast bad? Yes. Should it exist? Absolutely not. But I mean, at the end of the day, can't you say that about most podcasts, really? As a guy whose only exposure to podcasts has been the ones I've talked about on this channel, which are famously bad, I feel like I'm pretty qualified to make that statement. Well, guys, what do you think? Is Hawk Tuah gonna go down in the history books as one of, if not the most important piece of media of our time? I'm thinking maybe. Unfortunately for Hailey, I can't imagine this lasting too long. To be fair, I've said that for like the last 2 months, but tricking boomers into thinking you're an actual celebrity and maintaining an audience for a podcast,
Boomers, yeah,
those
you're
are
right.
two very different things. I think
Yeah.
these first few episodes will get a lot of views just because of the novelty, but
And they
once
did.
that wears off, I think the reality of the situation will start to present itself. Not hoping for that, not wishing for it, don't get me wrong. I hope Miss Hawk Tuah has all the success in the world. I just don't see it happening. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like.
Yeah, check this guy's video out. It'll be in the link down below. This is honestly just, I'm just blown away. And he's right. This girl's podcast episodes do have hundreds of thousands of views. I feel like it's like a psyop or something, or it's a test to see, like, it's like the activation code in MK Ultra. It's like Hawk Tuah. It's like the perfect combination of letters that activates a subsect of the population into watching this shit and doing the will of the government. Like, what? This is crazy, man. Like, I just don't know who watches this stuff. Like, the slop, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm baffled.